Stupid Garbage Podcast.
Oh, I like that.
So it begins.
Yes. Oh, God, what a day it's been.
How are you, darling?
I don't know.
She doesn't even know how she is.
I'm distraught. I'm enraged. I'm embarrassed.
Sounds like you know exactly how you are.
I'm exhausted. We did a workout with my brother today at the park, which was very, very nice, especially in quarantine times. And he wanted to do... He comes, he's like, okay, this is what was it called?
Bob did bob bow bow bow.
It's called Takakawa or something. Takawa?
Yeah, Nakazawa.
And he was like, okay, you guys, it's going to be... All right, so it's 3 blocks of 5 sets of...
4 exercises.
4 exercises.
2010, 2010, 2010, 2010.
I'm like, Michael, what the fuck are you talking about? And he was like...
His name is Michael.
He was so... Like, he kept on trying to explain it, and I was like, why are there so many words? And then he was like... he was trying to explain... what was it? It was like touching your toes or something. And he was trying to explain touching your toes. And he goes, okay, so we're going to go 1, 1, 1, 1. And that's 2. And I'm like, why are there so many fucking numbers involved? Like, just do 1, 2. We don't have to do 1, 1, 2,
Like, for
2.
example, a jumping jack, which is what you started with to warm up. You did, as you probably know, a jumping jack. You open your arms and, jump and open your legs. And then you close them. He's like, okay, that's 1, 2. And then you did another one. That's 3, 4. So that's 1.
And then
it's
we're
like,
going
wait a minute, 2 jumping jacks is 1? He's like, yeah. And then we do 5 of those. It's like, you mean 10 jumping jacks? He's like, yeah, but they're 5 blocks of 4 moves. It's like, what?
I'm like, Michael, what the fuck? So I was like...
That was strange. The workout itself was fine.
It took him a while to, like, let that go.
That was an odd, yeah.
And I needed him to repeat himself, like, 20 times. And I was like, how far into the exercise are we?
Some of it was your fault.
Well, sure.
Some of it, like, we did the same thing literally 15 times. And at, like, time 13, you're like, okay, what are we doing now?
Yeah, no, I don't claim that that's Michael's fault. I'm just saying that the counting fucked me up. And then when I was saying, how far into the workout are we? He's like, oh, well, we've done 2 blocks with 5 sets of 4 exercises. I'm like, wait, but we've... What? And I was like, so we've done 2. And he's like, no, a block is the whole thing. A block is 4 exercises of 8 sets. And I'm like, so we've done 2 sets of 2 different things. And he was like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, so we have 2 more blocks left? And he's like, no.
Anyway.
I'm like, what the... Yeah. You're right. Cut me off, please, because this is going to go on forever.
Nowhere. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the whole thing. But it was very fun. I'm surprisingly not that sore, but it was exhausting.
He tried to race me at the very end, which I thought was odd.
He did?
Yeah. So at the very end, we jogged about 115 yards or so.
I was under the impression that we were going to be jogging.
Jar Jar Binks.
Star Wars on the brain. I was under the impression that we were going to be... He was like, we're going to jog to that goal. And I was like, okay, great. So I kept up with the guys, and I was like, yay, we're all jogging. And then they're like, okay, time to go back. And I was like, wait. I saved up all my energy to get to that goal. Like, I can't go back. And they're like, what? No, what? So they just left without me.
We told you we're going to go there and come back.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. Anyway, so you guys raced.
Yeah, well, we ran there, as you know, at a fast jog, I guess. And we turned around and I was like, all right, time to jog back. And that was the end of the workout, like a cool down, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then he started, and we're just running next to each other. And then he just started going faster a little bit. I was like, all right, I guess we're going a little faster. And then he kept going faster. Over the course of like 2 seconds, he sped up a little, and I, kept pace with him, and he sped up a little over the course of like 10 steps. And then he started just immediately all out sprinting. And I was like, what is it? So I just followed him.
Oh my God.
I blew past him, but I was just like, that was weird. But like, just tell me we're sprinting. I don't care. But
yeah,
I put on the burners, left him in the dust.
Fuck yeah.
That's how that ended.
Yeah. It was a good workout, though. Michael's a very good instructor.
Yeah, well, that's what he does for a living. He's a personal trainer.
Exactly. So it's,
Anywho, back to the main event.
He's not a personal trainer.
First things first, 12:16 a.m. Midnight 16, dear reader.
This is our second podcast of the day.
Second podcast of Cinco de Mayo, although I guess technically now it's the 6th.
Thank God. That's a day I don't need.
Jessica, as we all know, hates Hispanic culture in all capacity. Even Spanish culture, you're not a big fan of.
Didn't we go... Yeah, I've been to Spain.
You were unimpressed by Spain.
So I couldn't say that.
Barcelona.
I can't say anything about Hispanic culture because I've never been to any of the Latin countries, but...
No, but you've been to the Bronx.
Zing.
I mean, well, no, a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans live in the
Sure,
Bronx.
but, like, that's, you know, not the same.
Well, true. Fine. Fair. But anyway, what...
Oh, didn't we go to the Museum of Natural History when they had a Cinco de Mayo day? And
we did. That was a lot of fun.
that was fucking amazing. They gave us so much of this weird bread that was, like...
It was kind of like Irish soda bread.
It was so interesting.
It was dense and sweet.
It was like challah.
A little bit, sure.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of these sweet breads across cultures that are basically the same exact thing.
And then they had like button making.
They had these like 100 dancers in the middle of the room. I think it was some sort of auditorium hall or something, and they had a bunch of tables set up, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
The American Museum of Natural History in New York, New York, dear reader.
We're doing a plug?
Yes.
We're doing museum plugs now?
Yeah. I love the Museum of Natural History. I could go there every weekend.
After 6 p.m., or no, 8 p.m., I think.
They have a roller disco there.
That's preposterous.
Okay.
Jessica, that's absurd.
You can have your wedding there.
After 8 p.m., also absurd. All the statues come to life.
Oh.
Yeah, don't be stupid.
Okay.
Don't be a child.
My God. Anyway.
A roller disco. There is as you all know, dear reader, because I talk about it all the time, I've been to India, and there's a town in the north of India called Shimla. It has a cute nickname, like the capital jewel of the something. But anyway, it's a really cool city, and it's kind of on tiers, like a wedding cake. Like there's the top tier, and then you go, these really almost clandestine little alleyways with staircases that go down like 150 feet. And then there's another bigger, obviously, ring, like a tier, and then you go down again and again. And as you go further down...
pictures. I want to see that.
I might have some. As you go further down, there's all the shopping in the shops, and all that is cheaper. And so anyway, on the top tier, which might be like a mile around, it's still pretty big, there's a Domino's and a Subway and some artisanal popcorn honey store. And the big building at the top, there's this large courtyard that's like 100 meters across, and there are horse rides on it, and I think there's if memory serves, a carousel, and a big statue of Gandhi, because I think his March to the Sea might have started in Shimla. Maybe not, but anyway, there's a big statue of Gandhi, and right next to the big statue of Gandhi, there is a restaurant that at nights has a roller disco.
Aww.
Yeah. So
That's
I was like,
fun.
This is really... When I was in India for over a month, that was the most Americanized thing.
Yeah.
Or westernized. The Domino's and I think a Subway and all that crap.
Fuck yeah, Subway.
And then the roller disco.
Dude,
it could have been in like Montreal or something.
When I went to France, I think I told you this, literally the waiter or the counter guy at Subway was like, wait, I'm sorry, you're in France and you're choosing on your vacation to come to Subway restaurant.
You work here.
I was like,
You're here 40 hours a week, you moron. I'm gonna be gone in 60 seconds.
If you hate
that terrible Nicolas Cage movie.
Also, like, what?
Name that film?
Gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, you got it. A bit of a softball for you.
Thank you. Because I'm too stupid to think of it myself. Anyway, yeah.
Just gonna let you flounder on that one.
It was just rude. So anyway, what was I saying now? Oh yeah, but that guy was such a twat, and I was like, bro, I'm eating a ton of French bread and a ton of French baguettes. I'm allowed to have one thing that reminds me of home on my fucking solo trip to France. You fuck. Anyway.
See,
not as happy a story as yours.
I can't imagine why people think American tourists are rude, but
I was nice to him. I was like alone, and I think that was
like
the day where like some creeper like followed me around, and I was like I was just like so happy that this dude wasn't trying to like kidnap me. And I was like, "Hello, friend."
Just nap. You're too old to be kidnapped. You're not a kid.
That's true.
You'd be napped.
I'm glad he did not nap me.
Yeah.
And he was fun to talk to, and oh my god, he was so cute. Like he was trying to explain what honey was, like honey mustard.
Jessica, this man had Down syndrome.
And he was like, no, and he was like,
bees make it.
No, and he was like,
tastes like candy.
The only thing that he could think of was a bear, so he just goes, "Rrr," and he like
Jessica,
uses his hand as claws.
Jessica,
I'm explaining it to the reader.
No. You're explaining it to me too. I've never heard the story. This man Nope, I've never heard this at all.
I told you this.
This French man had Down syndrome.
Oh my god, it was so cute. He was like, do you want mustard or something else mustard? And I was like, what? And I was stupid too. It was like 11 at night or something, and I like could not. I was like, what other kind of mustard is there? And
oh my god, you're useless.
yeah, like I wasn't helping him, and he was like, the other mustard, and he just like wasn't giving me anything. He was roar, and he like has his 2 claws like a bear, and he like makes his shoulders all big like a bear, and he goes roar, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, you know the and the and then he kept on saying the word, and I was like, are you
the word in French?
Honey? Yeah.
What's the word in French, Ryan?
I hope it's not honey, because that would ruin my entire story.
I'll look it up right now. And Jessica, you got a lot riding on this. Yeah. Let me tell you, if it sounds anything like honey and you should have got it, you're done for the rest of the pod. It's going to be a solo show.
He also, I forget what the other thing was.
French.
I have a voice recording of it because I thought it was such a funny trip, but I forget what he said.
Okay, this says mon chéri, but I think that just means like love. Oh, miel.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get that. But yeah, so there was something else that he helped sound out for me too, and it was just very adorable. Like I think it was probably like lettuce or something, and he was like doing it like another little animal.
If I may.
Sure.
Let me turn it up.
That doesn't sound like honey.
No, not at all.
Le miel.
Le miel.
So he was going, they eat le miel, they eat eat, and I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, and I got it, and it was. So we shared a very sweet moment. I don't remember if that was before or after.
Is that a lion?
He
Are you asking me
out.
if I want a gazelle?
Yeah. What
Sir?
the fuck are you doing?
No, I don't want gazelle mustard.
Like he could have done.
Get the fuck out of my face.
He could have done like bzzz
Sure,
or whatever,
sure,
but I think I would have been like a bug.
Jessica,
You want me to eat
that's
bugs?
a little advanced. Well, you can tell a bug from a fly based on the buzzing they make. A bee is a bug from a fly. A bee from a fly.
Sure, but
a bee
sometimes
is like
people aren't as.
zzz, whereas a fly is like zzz, it's
That's
angrier.
not a very like. There wasn't much of a difference between
You horse's ass.
zzz.
You're an idiot. I'm
Anyway.
not surprised this took you an hour and a half to figure out.
Anyway, I have to say, the other thing that I love, another random voice recording from France story, is like, I'm pretty sure I got the coronavirus in France, and I voice recorded it, and I go, hi, Rob.
Well, that's because you were eating all that bat soup.
I was like, hi, Rob, and I didn't want to send it to Rob, because he doesn't like it when I get anxious.
Talk to me.
Yeah. He doesn't like it when I, like, get anxious and, like, stress him out for no reason, which is completely understandable.
Yeah, you're like, it will be, for me, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I will either be asleep or awake because I'm trying to kind of in some way to compensate my sleep schedule with yours.
Very cute.
So I'll either wake up at like 10 a.m. to this voice note, or I'll get it at 3 a.m. and you'll be like, "Hi, help."
I'm lost.
And then it
I don't
cuts
have any-
off
I don't have
and your
enough
phone's
money.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that to him
I
couple
think
times.
I'm in Andorra. Is that a different country?
Yeah.
I don't know where I am. There's a man following me.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
There are a
and then I'll
couple
text you back,
times-
be like, "Hey, what's up?" And you don't respond for 7
The
hours.
other problem is that within France, like, I didn't have any data, so, like, if I wasn't in my hotel or in a place with Wi-Fi...
I'm not saying you should be expected to be on your phone 24/7. I'm saying you can't
I
send me
understand.
stuff. You say you understand.
I understand.
But then you do this every time you leave the house without me. You do stuff like this.
Yeah. I think it just, like, helps me, and I know it's, maybe selfish, but...
It's entirely selfish.
Well...
And it's also really not helping you.
Well, it helps me to, like, feel like I'm sharing and, like, relieving and be like, hey, Rob, like, I'm lost and I'm stressed. And it feels like I have someone to talk to, like, share the experience with me, and I feel less alone.
Now you have Peaches.
Hey, Peaches.
Peaches.
I'm lost.
Peaches.
Anyway, my point was, I recorded a voice note that I didn't end up sending to Rob because I was being considerate of his feelings.
Thank you.
And I didn't want to stress him out, but I'm pretty sure I had, like, a little corona. I was like, my head hurts and both my eyeballs really hurt from the back of my head. It hurts every time I swallow. I think I'm gonna die. I don't know.
No, you
and I
sent me
started
plenty
coughing.
of those. You sent me plenty of those.
Well,
You sent me a ton of those. And also, you called me at what would have been for you like 4 a.m. and be like, I can't sleep and my head hurts and I think I'm having a panic attack.
That was really scary.
I was on the phone with you for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was really scary. And I appreciate that you did that. That was very nice of you. I think if I hadn't...
You're the worst.
If you had been asleep, I would have, like, stayed up the whole night because every time I closed my eyes, the room was spinning.
Are welcome. Yeah. So...
Anyway...
We also have a
That's
story...
fun India story.
Speaking of traveling and you not understanding people and going to Spain. When we were in Spain, I speak some Spanish. I speak a pretty decent amount of Spanish, in fact.
Sure.
You don't speak any.
Yeah.
You don't speak a word of it.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Spain. We went to a restaurant that was a very fun restaurant, very nice restaurant, a Russian restaurant.
Yeah.
The man did not speak much Spanish, and he spoke no English. Mm-hmm. He spoke Russian, which I know 4 words of, and he spoke less Spanish than I did. So there was a bit of a gap, something being lost in translation. And so we got all these dishes, and we just kind of pointed at pictures and all that. And at the end, he gave us cake.
Yeah.
And he said, Zanhoria. And I said, oh, that's carrot cake. And then he left. Like, he went back to the behind the counter or something. And I went, oh, that's carrot cake. And then I looked at it and I said, yeah, that's carrot cake. I know what carrot cake looks like. And then I tasted it and went, that's definitely carrot cake. And then you took a bite of it and went, I don't know what this is. I think it's pineapple. Do you remember that?
No.
When he said the word carrot that in a language I knew and you didn't,
Nope.
and then I looked and tasted and said, this is definitely carrot cake?
Nope.
And then he came back and you asked what it was, and he went, oh, like a little, and then he started putting his hand to his mouth and going, num, 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 like bunny
like
teeth.
rabbit,
yeah. He said like a, and I said, bunny? And he said, yes. And I said, oh, carrot. And he said, yes, carrot. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that part.
You're a horse's patoot.
I thought he just gave us the carrot cake and then immediately went, this is carrot cake.
Nope.
And that was what happened. I don't
He did
think
say
that
this is carrot cake in Spanish. And I said, oh, he just told us this
I
was
don't remember
carrot
that
cake.
part.
And you went, I don't think so. It
I
looks
don't
like
think that would have
pineapple.
happened.
Anyway, on to the main event. We
Okay.
watched what today, Jessica?
Star Wars Episode 2, Episode 5,
The Empire Strikes Back.
Return of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith is episode 3.
Return of Custodian Leia.
Return of the Jedi is episode 6.
Remarks of the Republic.
You're going to get muted.
The Empire comes again.
If you think that I wouldn't, but if you think that to prove a point, I won't edit this episode so that every time you talk, it's replaced by horns honking and sounds of traffic.
Don't do this.
You think I won't do it? You know I will.
We should do an episode like that, but not this one. I have a lot of things to say about this.
Go ahead.
It's funny because we watched it in 2 parts. We watched the first part and then...
We watched the first hour and 40 minutes, and then we watched the last 15 minutes 2 hours later.
Yeah. After my brother workout situation. But then we watched The Family Guy
And
episode.
the rest is history.
So I'm just saying, like, it's funny, like, I was watching Family Guy, I was like, oh yeah, shit, that happened. I didn't take notes on that. That happened. I didn't take notes on that. And
Yeah, she was taking notes during the Family Guy episode because she forgot to take notes during that analogous thing happening in the actual movie.
Yeah.
It's a very ass-backwards way of doing things.
My brain...
It's shaped like a pear.
It doesn't work, but in its own magical way, it's great.
Your brain is like an 8.
Okay.
Like out of 10.
I thought it was like an infinity symbol.
No.
Sure.
I mean like an 8 out of 10.
Thank you.
I mean like your brain is shaped like a human woman. Your brain is an hourglass figure.
Exactly, an infinity.
I mean, I
My
guess.
God.
Sure, fine.
Anyway.
Fine.
So-
Not the point I was making, but fine.
Okay. What do you have to say about this?
You have notes.
So,
Let's
you
hear
have
what you got.
thoughts?
I do have thoughts, but it seems
Okay.
like you're kind of burning to get...
The whole
These are-
Tauntaun thing was animal abuse outright.
Right, the movie starts with, I thought, I can't get a read on Han Solo. So the movie starts with Han and Luke out on Hoth, and they're just looking around doing some scouting report or something. And Han goes back, Luke stays out, Luke gets hit by a Wampa, which is like a giant abominable snowman, and Han goes back to the base and realizes that no one's seen Luke, and so he's like, oh, I'll go find him. And some guy, rebel captain or something, some soldier's like, hey, Han, it's night's falling and it's freezing, and if you go out there, listen, I don't mean to be a dick, but you just take a ship or something. Like, if you go out there, your Tauntaun will die almost immediately, and you'll freeze to death. And Han goes, then I'll see you in hell! And he storms out of the base on his Tauntaun.
for no reason.
Like, guy, he's trying to tell you not to do this because you'll die immediately. Like, at least say, like, I gotta do this, I gotta save my friend. But, like, don't be a dick about it. Then I'll see you in hell. Go fuck yourself. I hope you do die. You're an asshole. Yeah. You know what? You are going straight to hell. You've been a jerk this whole time.
Another Han Solo.
I'm trying to help.
Another Han Solo thing He is very rapey, as I mentioned in the last movie.
Listen.
Like, he touches Leia a lot in ways that she, even if she secretly wants it, she very, not so secretly doesn't want it.
All right, so I say a con, you say a pro. This is fair. This is fine.
And, yeah, like, that scene, it was so weird. Like, Leia's, like, chasing him out, and he's just like, why don't you just admit it? And she's like, admit what? He's like, you know what? It's like, bro.
You want this dick?
Like, why is he so intent?
Han Swolo.
Why is he so...
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is he so intent on getting her to admit feelings when, like... It was just very weird. I don't...
What else is weird? I don't know why they did this. In the first movie, every single character, including himself, says Han Solo. Every single character in this movie says Han.
Yeah,
it's
what
a
the
different
fuck?
Name. What is it?
I don't remember when it started. Like, I definitely noticed
it. It started like 20 minutes into the movie.
Okay, I definitely noticed it
Maybe
on
earlier.
the Cloud
City.
But I...
Lando called him Han. I think Darth Vader maybe called him Han.
It was very
Leia
weird.
called him Han.
It was very weird.
His name is Han. You've known him for this entire time, and you've been calling him Han. What the fuck happened?
What's his fucking name?
It's Han.
That was weird. And stupid. Yeah.
And how hard is... I mean, it's not even a difficult... Like, Billy D. Williams, the character who plays Lando, first take says Han. Like, he hasn't seen the... I guess, how have you not fucking seen Star Wars, especially if you're cast in the next one? But fucking fine. You haven't seen Star Wars. No one's told you. You got the script, and you read it and go, oh, like hand without the D, thus Han. Fine. Sure. The first take on, like, one of the dress rehearsals, someone would have been like, Han. Billy, it's Han. It's Han. It's not Han.
He's one of, like, the three main characters.
Like awning, right? Han. There you go. Yeah. You got it. How do you not just... Stop letting him say Han. Yeah. And then everyone starts saying Han after that. Maybe even before that, but after that... I think at one point they were going back and forth. Like, some people called him Han and some people called him Han. And then at one point, like, halfway through the movie, they just all started calling... Even Luke, Han. Literally. All of them started calling him Han. What's happening? Why would you do this?
So weird.
You know his name's... Be like, if you started calling him Lucky instead of Luke. That's not his name.
Yeah.
That's not his name. His name is Luke.
No,
his name is Han. Anyway, go ahead.
My God. Okay, so let's see here. I find Vader's obsession with Luke weird. Like, I know that we, obviously, spoiler alert, Darth Vader is Luke's father. But we don't know that. So it's like, in the beginning, in the crawl, it was just like, oh, Darth Vader has become obsessed with finding Luke. And it's like, okay, but
I think
why?
I think that's a pretty common serial killer attribute, is that they go after a type, maybe a spurned love that they had when they were young, and it's always, I killed 48 people and they were all blonde women between 5'6" and 5'8".
That reminded me of my mother.
Right, between the ages of 19 and 23.
But it's weird that it's one person. It's just one guy. He just wants to find Luke.
That's where it starts.
But it's like...
Maybe he's going to go on a killing spree.
I just thought it was
weird. All the blonde kids in the Dagobah system are going to get it.
Also, I wrote down the battle scenes in this movie were so individual. Like, you would see a fighter and you'd be like, hi, this is Red number 2 coming at... Or Rogue 2.
Porkins checking in.
Yeah, and then it would be like... He would talk, and then Luke would respond, and then they would talk to home base or something, and then you would watch that guy get shot down. But it wasn't like, oh, you see the, what's it called? The oh my God. The Imperial people? What are they called?
Stormtroopers.
Just the general fleet. What are they called?
The Imperial fleet?
It is the Imperial fleet. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, I'm not well. But basically, like, the Imperial fleet, you see them, and then you see all the rebels coming at them.
Would it be easier if we did this in French? Would you be able to access the words better? Go ahead.
Oui. Anyway, so they... Basically, yeah. So you see the Imperial fleet, and then you see the Rebel fleet, or the Rebel planes, I guess. And
oh my God!
They're not a fleet, I wouldn't call them that, but... Basically, they're, like, coming at each other, and you don't see any sort of battle.
You see the Rebel A619, which is actually... It sounds like it would come after the A618, but the A620 was the one before the 19, and then they got recalled. Like,
do you know that the parsec is actually a measurement of distance and not time?
No, we don't do that.
But that's Family Guy did that.
So anyway, this is good. This is hack radio.
These are all my original thoughts except for that one comment. But basically, yeah, I thought it was weird that it was like you'd see a pilot and then you'd see him die and then they'd move on to the next pilot and then you'd see him die and then they'd move on to the next one, and it was just like, why can't you just show me? There was not like a single shot of the Imperial fleet like shooting down a bunch of rebels. It was just like, this guy dead, and I thought that was such a weird way to shoot a fight scene.
There was a lot of weird stuff. George Lucas, I don't think he directed this movie. These two movies didn't, besides obviously the characters and actors being the same, having kind of the same names, these two movies didn't really seem like they had much in common with each other, like in terms of the plot and the...
They both kind of
drigged, but yeah.
They dragged on a lot.
Drudged reported on.
Like, I felt like I was just like, okay, like, we're waiting so long for one thing to happen, and it just felt kind of like... They felt similar to me in that sense, where they were both very slow.
Yeah.
But that's it.
That too, but also, I mean, the first... it was just weird. The first movie seemed like... kind of like a Luke Skywalker coming-of-age story, joining the rebellion and all that. This movie was like all force, all the time.
Yeah.
All about the lightsabers, all about, it's just, it seemed very peculiar.
Darth was definitely more of a character in this one. Like, you complained that he was kind of lame in the last one, and you didn't really get a sense of, like, how powerful he was.
Yeah, like, what's his deal? Like, who is this dude?
Yeah, but I thought that they did a lot better. Like, it was a lot more Darth-centric, and he was a lot more capable, and he was a lot more, like, commanding.
I suppose, but he killed, like, 3 admirals. He's like, you're the new guy, Captain. Congrats,
which, again, yeah, what a weird...
Admiral.
What a weird change from the last movie.
Yeah, where he wasn't killing anyone. I don't know, maybe they wanted to make him darker. But then, also, too, with what the last movie had Darth Vader being this kind of, like, he would just come in and be like, he'd be this bulldog character. He'd be like, I'm killing this motherfucker. He just random, unexplained, like a day in the life of Dog the Bounty Hunter. It's just very strange. This one had something similar with the Emperor. He maybe twice appeared on a giant hologram and spoke to Darth Vader and was like, yeah, find that sky. He also, too, it's very strange. I get it. They don't want to tip their hand that the Skywalker boy is Darth Vader's son. So when the Emperor and Darth Vader talk about him before the audience knows that, they say, I suspect he is Anakin Skywalker's son. Be like, what? Just say... Luke Skywalker. We know who he is.
Yeah.
What do you mean you suspect? How many Skywalkers do you know with a lightsaber, you dipshit?
It was very weird.
That's my lightsaber. I recognize it. Obi-Wan gave it to him.
Yeah.
It belonged to me for 15 years. You think he's my son?
Yeah.
The guy who looks just like me and has my name and grew up on...
the Emperor knows...
the planet that I was born on and has my lightsaber and was trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi? What, are you retarded?
The Emperor knows.
Yes!
They talk about it all the time. They shoot the shit.
Ugh, it was weird. It was so stupid. And so that was dumb. But yeah, the Emperor showed up. You didn't see the Emperor in person. You didn't see him do anything. He showed up like twice, and then you're like, okay, so what? Still, even after 2 movies, I really don't have any... You get the sense that, I guess, a little bit, that it's kind of like a ragtag militia, like a Minutemen type thing, the rebellion against the Empire. But still, in these 2 movies, you really don't get much of a sense of how big the resistance is. Like, this could be...
The resistance is just that one base.
Right, this could be... Right, but that's the thing. We don't... It could be like 50 people, or it could be like a Confederacy versus Union type thing, where, like, it's smaller, but it's like...
half and half.
Yeah, it's like 60% the size. It's still formidable.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. After watching 4 hours of these Star Wars movies, I got no fucking idea.
And again, it's really hard to get a sense of how capable any of them are, too. Like, how... The battles seem pretty vast and whatever, far-reaching, because they're, like, full fleets that are fighting, but it's the one rebel team. And the one Imperial team.
The scope... Who... Yeah, our Darth Vader is at every... Darth Vader and Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Leia are all there at every single space battle at the same time.
Exactly, so it's like...
Okay, is it like 40 people versus 80? Like, what are we talking about here? Is this like a big game of Capture the Flag? What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's very weird. Like, how many admirals are there? How many commanders of the rebel... Like,
it looked like a big family reunion. I mean, seriously, it was like a giant barbecue. So, yeah, that was weird. And also... something that I just found kind of... I don't know if I'd call it odd, but something was that anytime Luke did any of the Force training with Yoda, Yoda was an asshole. I'll put it that way. Yoda was a dick, and Yoda...
I said that Yoda was a little cackling goblin.
He was a goblin, but also he was for example, like when Luke was he saw his friends in the future. Force lets you see into the future, so fucking whatever.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But not really, because the future is very...
Not even Master Yoda can see. So when Luke saw Han, and Leela getting tortured on Cloud City, he was like, I gotta go. And Yoda's like, no, you can't. Vader will kill you. And Luke's like, I gotta. And Yoda's like,
no,
you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I mean, only you know what the right thing. It's like, no, either stop him or help him or fucking something.
No,
like,
he literally said, if you go, you will probably save them. But if you don't go, or wait, sorry.
Well, no, he said their loss will be in vain if you go.
Exactly. He was like, everything they believe in and are fighting for will be in vain. And to me, I'm like, that is a very hard do not go, because...
I guess, also, not really true. Leia is fighting to take down the Empire, which I guess Luke's fighting to take down Vader, which is... I mean, it's more like a personal...
Well, I think Luke also wants the Empire.
Han doesn't give a shit. Han's a smuggler. Don't speak for him.
Again, Luke has made an alliance with the rebels in general.
I guess. I don't know.
But I did agree that it was I mean, I think the whole thing is like, they need his Jedi superpowers to defeat...
Why can't Yoda do something? Yeah,
again, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda both are like fucking nerds just alone in their little huts.
Yeah, I don't...
What sort of life fighting.
Is this? Yeah. Also, Yoda, he stole food and a flashlight from Luke as soon as he found him, and he was looking at it.
Dug through his shit.
He was like an autistic child. He was like looking into a flashlight. It's like, wait a minute, hold on.
Really
you
weird.
had a lightsaber. How is a flashlight surprising you? What are you doing here, man? You have a house.
He also, the fact that he immediately was like, hey man, what's up? Let me dig through all your shit. Like, if I was Luke, I would have been like, can you fuck off? Like, you're
well, he kind of was. I don't understand.
No, I know, but I would have been a lot meaner to Yoda. I would have been like, you're literally like a raccoon right now.
Right.
Like, leave me alone.
Yoda, either you know that this is Luke Skywalker, which I think he did, because I think
must have.
Obi-Wan told me he was coming and blah, blah, blah. Either you know this is Luke Skywalker, in which case, introduce yourself, or you don't know it's Luke Skywalker and you think someone's crash landed in your little swamp, in which case, get the fuck out of here.
Well, I think
fucking
he's
weirdo.
So powerful that he
goddamn hillbilly.
He's not afraid of anything.
I'm not saying he's afraid. I'm saying he's being an asshole.
Yeah, it was weird.
He's just pickpocketing this dude.
Another thing, like, Luke, like, that scene, I think, is, like, such a huge scene in the Star Wars, like, fandom. Like, everyone loves that swamp training scene. First of all, the training was lame. He ran for, like, half a second, and he did a couple of headstands.
Yeah.
Handstands.
And
what the fuck?
And a backflip.
Yeah, like that.
Front flip, I guess.
That wasn't... The training was so minimal and also had nothing to do with the Jedi anything.
No. Yeah, no. Well, I think...
the rocks and the control, I was like, fine, sure.
Yeah,
but
he was trying to
else...
get him to use his body as a instrument to channel the Force. It
seemed like he'd been training for a day, maybe 2 tops, and everyone's like, wow, Luke, you've really improved. Like, you are fucking ready. And like,
Yoda's taught you a lot.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Also, they just, that was such a huge scene in the Star Wars fandom. The fact, it was so short, and it was so abrupt. Like, it was like, oh no, I had a vision, my friends were in trouble, goodbye. And then Yoda was not mentioned the rest of the movie. What happened to Yoda? Does he plan on coming back to finish his training?
Yeah, also, I'm not sure how much time took place between the first movie and the second movie, but I feel like it's not a lot.
Like 30 seconds.
I feel like they blew up the Death Star, and they had to then move their rebel base to Hoth.
Probably like a couple weeks.
So then still this entire thing has been like, at the beginning of this episode, when they're out in the snow on Hoth, Han's like, hey, you coming, Luke? And Luke's like, hey, Han, old buddy.
Yeah.
It's like, you've known this guy for like 11 days.
I guess when you experience something that traumatic with someone. But you're right. It's not, old buddy's a little weird.
I don't get. This movie, man, I don't know. I just don't know. You got more notes.
Okay.
Let's
Another thing I was going to
cycle
say,
through some of them.
Rob keeps saying, like, we saw the first one, and I was like, oh, sweet, like, I want to see Leia looking all cool. And I assumed that Slave Leia was in the first movie, and he's like, no, it's not there yet. And I go, oh, then let's watch the second movie for sure. And Rob did not correct me that it was also not a part of the second movie. So I've just been dying for Slave Leia, and I have not gotten it. Anyway.
Attack of the Clones. That's when she shows up.
Her and her clones, if you know what I mean.
I don't at all.
Well, anyway.
What does that mean?
Her titties.
Her clones?
Her clones, yeah. Anyway.
The Phantom Menace is what I call my vagina.
I wrote another rapey kiss.
Revenge of the Sith is the butthole.
Yeah, even when he kissed her in the ship, rapey. Just rapey. A lot of rape. Yeah, Yoda's a little cackling goblin. I did find him endearing, but also he was very annoying. Yeah, Yoda, I don't know.
Duh.
If Luke okay, so when Luke and R2-D2 are flying on the plane, ship, whatever,
Boat.
Luke responds to R2 and he can understand him. But the entire last movie, C-3PO was translating for R2 the entire time because no one could understand what R2 was saying. Can R2 fucking be understood or not?
I think it's kind to link
like
it
a
to
Stewie
Family
and
Guy. I
Brian
think
situation?
it's like a Stewie thing wherein it's necessary for the plot. He can be understood, but the rest of the time you have to assume that.
Like 3PO can understand him. Leia could have presumably understand him.
I don't
when she
know
was sending the
if
message.
R2 was necessarily being translated by C-3PO, or if C-3PO was just saying it to break the fourth wall a little, to at least be expositional.
No, because sometimes he would just shoot the shit with him, but other times he would literally say, R2 says.
Yeah, I think that's just expositional.
It's obnoxious, that's what that is.
Yeah, I think it's just so
give
weird.
R2 a voice or don't.
Yeah, well.
I wrote, why the fuck, and the fuck was all in caps.
Why the fuck what?
Why the fuck does 3PO...
Let's move on.
Shit.
Let's move on. You're gonna be muted. You're on 2 strikes.
What did I... Oh, okay, so you get one little flicker of Darth Vader's head, the back of it, as he's putting his mask on.
You do.
And I was
it
like,
looks like a cauliflower.
It looks like a ball sack.
Yeah.
It's all veins. My God. Okay. Yeah, I wrote very abrupt. Okay, can we... okay. Oh, while I was looking at the Emperor, so my brother, when we were kids, I think he must have been around, like, 2, we were eating Star Wars fruit snack gummies, and my brother outright choked on the blue gummy of the Emperor's face. And it was just the Emperor wearing his cloak.
He's buried in Highland Cemetery in New Rochelle.
My brother?
Yeah.
My God. That's dark.
Yeah.
That's real dark.
It was a sad
Anyway,
time.
so my brother flat out choked on it. My mom, he started turning blue and purple.
Like the gummies.
Yeah.
Fun.
So I added the purple because I was like, Rob's gonna jump
like
on that.
Violet.
My God.
From Willy Wonka.
Yeah, so my mom, literally was losing her mind. I don't even know what she did. She must have given, the little baby a Heimlich situation, but that's all I could think of when I saw the Emperor's face, because it was the exact shot that they used to make that gummy, and I was like, oh, no. Anyway.
To kind of build off of that jumping off point here, when I was but a boy, my dad would give me and my sister, and I think my brother, but I don't think he really liked them, Flintstone's chewable vitamins. I think
I
the
thought you
logic...
meant that your dad didn't like your brother, so he didn't give him
Also
any.
true,
Like, oh,
but
man.
no. My brother didn't like the Flintstones chewable vitamins, and also I think, it's whatever, vitamin C and vitamin B12, and, Greg had enough energy as it was, so... But my sister and I would every morning get a Flintstones chewable, and every 6 or 7 times in a row, she got Betty Rubble. And that was, for some reason, I don't know, my sister's least favorite character, or maybe just least favorite vitamin. Like, who has a favorite? But anyway.
Well, they taste different.
Well, no, they taste different if they're different colored. You can get a red Fred Flintstone, or an orange Fred Flintstone, or a purple Fred Flintstone, or a green Barney Rubble, or a blue Barney Rubble. So, it doesn't matter. The first time she got it, she got really upset.
That's weird.
And then, so anyway, she hated Betty Rubble, and she kept getting Betty Rubble. And so, years later, we got a Snapple fact: Flintstones chewable vitamins don't have a Betty Rubble character. First of all, fucking false. Verifiable by Snopes and myself. Bullshit. Second of all, let's run with this and say it's true. That's not interesting. The main character of the Flintstones is Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
The secondary character, I'd say Barney Rubble. Tertiary would be Wilma.
Yeah.
The third would be, or the fourth, I guess, would be
Dino,
and then Bam Bam and Pebbles. Like, Betty Rubble should be 6th or 7th on the list.
for sure.
That they don't have Betty Rubble.
His car is more of a character than she is.
That they don't have Betty Rubble isn't surprising or interesting.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have Betty Rubble, and they did. Snapple, step your fucking game up.
I really like how heated you're getting about this seemingly meaningless fact.
If I'm buying a juice or a tea or something of the like, usually not a juice, because Snapple's not juice.
It needs to teach me something.
Well, if I'm buying, very seldom, maybe twice a year, if I'm at a store and I'm buying a tea, I will pick Snapple because I can't really taste any difference between any bottled name brand mass-produced teas, and Snapple teaches me a fact. That's the reason I buy your goddamn drink. If your fact is verifiably bullshit, I want a refund, frankly. I'm not paying for the tea. It's water with a little bit of tea leaf in it. I'm paying for the goddamn Snapple fact.
Another random site. You could just Google them, but
I know, but it's the
as a bit.
experience. We could.
Anyway.
Write it down.
Okay.
Anyway, you were saying.
Literally right now. Another fun random fact about Snapple is that when I was in high school, the Snapple building was right next door to my high school, and not a lot of people knew that.
Did you go to high school on a highway?
I did. And I don't know if it was like the old Snapple building or if it was the current Snapple building, but it definitely had at one point been a Snapple building.
Sure.
So we went in it because they were like, yeah, sometimes if you go, you can get free Snapple in the lobby. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. So like my friends during our lunch period one time, like we went, it was like me and one other kid or two other kids. And like, I remember the lobby of the building. I don't know if it was just a Snapple building or if it was like a group of office buildings, but you walk into the lobby and there's a fucking life-sized Zen garden in the middle of this building.
I think it's just called the garden.
What? No, it's a Zen garden.
A people-sized Zen garden? It's called the garden.
No, but it wasn't like I've been to gardens before. This is like
Brag.
This is like the one where there's like white sand and rakes and shit.
Sure.
And I literally was like, you guys, I don't even give a shit about the rest of this thing. Like, look where we are. This is like this fantasy, like. Anyway, I don't know what happened to it. I think it closed, but I don't know when. But like, I just have this really weird and really specific memory of this Zen garden, and I cannot capture it again. Like,
that is weird. Like, a sandbox blew your mind.
I think about it all the time. No, Rob. It literally had like a huge window going down the middle of the room, like just a fucking window. And I think it spanned the entire building height, where it was just like
middle of the room. You mean a pane of glass?
No, like the whole building. I'll draw it out for you later, but like the whole, like you walk in and like there's a huge square in the middle of the building that is a Zen garden, and if you look all the way up you can see like into the sky because it's just glass. Like there's a big glass cutout in the middle of this building.
Got it. So what's next on your notes?
Is that not? But it's just crazy. It's like this evasive memory that I'm like, I wish I could get that moment
Doesn't
back,
sound
or like
evasive.
prove that it even fucking happened.
It sounds like.
Was it a fever dream?
No, I'm sure. I mean, maybe.
My God.
A little bland for a fever dream. What
rude.
Is that? I mean, you could dream anything.
That's just the thing about me that I have in my brain, and it has never left me. And the urge to go back is so strong, and I never will again.
What's next on your notes? We'll figure something out.
So
the beach, I don't think you could handle the beach. You'd shit your pants right on the spot.
No, again, I cannot, like, that was one of the most enamored I've ever been in my life. I just thought it was so fucking cool. Anyway, Silver C-3PO came back.
He did, and C-3PO said, "Good to see a familiar face."
And then the guy
does he know this guy or not?
It was so funny.
Yeah, he swore at him in some...
And, like, tried to hit him or something. It was stupid.
Middle Eastern tongue.
Rude. Okay. The last thing I had was the scene, obviously, the big scene where...
obviously.
Spoiler alert, if you just jumped in 50 minutes into this podcast, which, I get it, 43 minutes into this podcast. What?
Doing regular time checks. Kind of my thing.
Okay, well, anyway. I'm saying if you just jumped in right now, this is a spoiler, but in that scene where Darth tells Luke he's his dad...
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Tells Luke Skywalker.
You need to calm down.
Okay.
But basically, like, first of all, Luke's fucking hand gets cut off, and he doesn't even, like, he doesn't curse.
Ow!
He just goes, ah! And then he gets up and starts crawling away, and Darth is like, you need to join me. And Luke does not moan. He doesn't whimper. Like, nothing. Like, sure, the lightsaber cauterizes the wound, and there's no...
Cauterizes, and I don't think it does. You're thinking of corduroy.
Cauterize... But it does. It for sure does. Like, it's a hot laser beam.
Yeah,
It's immediately cauterized.
No, I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that would be the
For
case.
sure. Did you see a drop of blood?
I mean, I guess I didn't see it, but I wasn't... Okay.
Case did. And all of the limbs that get cut off, it's just like, whoop, cut off. There's not like a pool of blood that begins to grow. It's just like...
It's a shitty low... Not even low budget.
Exactly.
It's a shitty... Frankly, creatively lacking movie in a lot of areas. There are a lot of big loopholes.
Right? It is such a creative movie where it's like you created this whole world with multiple planets and each planet is so different. Like, it's an amazingly creative movie, and yet
there's quite a lot. Can't get the goddamn main character's name right.
Yeah.
It's on!
And, like, again, all of the actors, I've said in the last movie, like, it looks like...
Carrie Fisher's a terrible actress.
There was a scene...
Rest in peace, but goddamn.
There was a scene with Carrie Fisher where she literally said her line, and then it looked like she was, I don't remember which movie it was in, but she was
this one. She was telling the soldiers what they were going to do.
What the plan was, and she literally is like, okay, so this is what we're going to do, and then she's, like, immediately after the line ends, it's like she shuts off, and she, like, all of a sudden, she looks so awkward standing in that group now, and she's like, wait, my lines are over, now what do I do with my body? And it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, when she started doing the worm, I thought that was a little out of place.
Ugh, I hate you. So yeah, it was just weird. And she was like shuffling and like slowly sunk back into the... It was very weird. And yeah, like there was a scene...
walked out of the scene.
In the first movie, it was Luke and Han, and they were... Han, and they were arguing. And literally, like, Luke would be like, no, but I'm telling you this! And then Han would reply, and while Luke was waiting for Han to reply, his eyes were completely blank. Like, he would be really animated when he was yelling.
That's because he's dead inside.
While he was waiting for Han to speak, or while Han was speaking, he was completely not emotive at all. It was so weird. Yeah. Anyway, I thought the acting was weird, but my point was... And then Luke, once he found out that he was actually his father, just overacted so disturbingly, where he was just like, oh God,
you know you're going to get that when you cast Jim Carrey in the role.
No.
Anyway, what else you got?
So yeah, Mark Hamill disappointed me. That's it. You need to stop rushing me.
No, that's good. That's great. You did a great job. Got a lot of notes.
I thought it was bad acting. I'm trying to think of any other general thoughts that I had, but...
Did you like the movie?
I think, even though they do feel like a little bit too long and a little bit kind of like, what the fuck is happening? Because not a lot happens, and this movie is 2 hours long.
Not a lot happened in this movie.
Exactly. Like, all that happened was they go to the city.
Cloud City.
Yeah, like, literally, like, they have that weird Tauntaun situation, which, again, was a very long scene considering nothing happened. Also, real quick, if that Tauntaun died by freezing to death, how warm would his body be to put Luke in? Anyway.
It's still warm on the inside.
But
enough. He just had to put the shelter up. Anyway, doesn't matter.
It just, to me, I was like, wait a second.
This don't matter none.
That guy's organs would have been really cold, too. So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, all they did was they had that weird scene in the beginning. They tripped a camel, as Family Guy said.
And AT-AT, yeah.
They fought the fleet or whatever, and they went to the city and
Cloud City and
another thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, yes, not much happened in this. Another thing. Did they
Okay, all right.
Did they
renew? Don't stab me, please. Oh,
did they renew?
I feel like I asked you not to do that.
You said don't stab me.
And
I did not stab you. I drew on you
with a marker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
When they made this movie, were they under the impression that they already, like, did they have a deal for the third movie yet?
Presumably. The first one made, like, $500 million or something ridiculous.
Because they left on the cliffhanger of whether or not Han is gone forever.
Yeah, he's frozen in carbonate.
Like, what? It was so, like, I was kind of like, if this was also a standalone, which apparently it's not, like, why?
Apparently.
I mean, no, like...
I'm being told now, I'm getting communique that there is, in fact, a third Star Wars film.
But if you tell me that they probably knew that they were going to make a third one before they made the second one, I'd be like, okay, I would get leaving on a cliffhanger, but what if this tanked?
From what I found, the first one was $11 million.
Sure.
This second one was $18 million.
Okay.
I think the first one alone made probably well over $100 million at the box office.
Okay.
So it's made, and Wikipedia says like 750 million, but I think that's probably like a lot of re-releases and stuff like that. But still, the first movie probably made enough very comfortably to finance the trilogy.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it tanks. And also, it's the most successful movie ever. It's not gonna tank.
Okay. So yeah, it
I mean, the modern Star Wars movies, like the new trilogy with Adam Driver, etc.
Yeah.
Those movies make like $2 billion, and they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're fucking awful.
Well,
they're terrible.
I think
like
there are definitely
prequels,
aspects that are better.
Well, the prequels are at least like with Jar Jar Binks. They're at least so bad that they're funny.
Yeah.
In a way, like this
yeah.
is really bad. These are just bad movies. They're not fun to watch. They're not fun to make fun of. They're not fun to participate in any capacity.
I disagree. I did like a couple of them. I did very strongly dislike a couple of them, so it's kind of a crapshoot. But also, I feel like the
Again, I think the ones you like are the standalones.
Maybe
Solo, Rogue One,
yeah.
and the trilogy were the ones you hated.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
If that's the case, that is understandable. But I felt like leaving the way that it did to me was just kind of like it almost seemed like it ended in the middle of a scene. Like I was just like, wait, you're ending it here? Like we're kind of in the middle of something right now?
To be
like
fair,
let's go save Han.
At the very end of the movie, Lando is talking to Luke and Leia via communicator, and he's in the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And he says, we're going to go to this rendezvous point. Don't worry, we're going to find Jabba and we're going to rescue Han. And then 5 seconds after that happened, you went, wait, where's Han? Where is he going? Where's Lando going?
I was talking over it.
You were on your phone or something.
No. I was saying, like I was complaining about the movie.
But I caught it. I caught all of it.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, where did they go?
Yeah.
What happened?
That was my bad. Yeah.
So it might feel like that way because you
maybe
it might feel that way because you checked out the last 2 minutes of the movie for some reason.
I would love to watch the third one.
It's weird too because we watched the first hour and 40 some odd minutes and then watched the last 17 minutes after taking a 2-hour break.
Sure.
So you'd think you'd be able to focus.
I don't know what happened. I think it was
it's
just that
not even
last...
a one episode of a half-hour television show.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, fair enough.
Additionally, I didn't like this one as much as the first one. But I thought, again, like, the swamp scene was so important.
Spoiler alert. The next one you're going to like even less.
I don't doubt that. Are they the same length? Are they all 2 hours?
I think so. Let's find out.
While you're doing that, it's interesting because I didn't like this movie as much as I liked the first one, but I am wanting to watch the third one even still.
Interesting. Return of the Jedi, the first two are both at least listed as 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Okay.
This one is 2:14.
Okay.
Well, one of them's 2:04 and one of them's 2:07, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
This was about 10 minutes longer.
Okay, that's fine. I really want to see Slave Leia. It was interesting too, like the first movie
Sleia.
I remembered a lot of it.
Sure.
But the second movie I found, like I remembered the swamp scene that I keep fucking mentioning.
Yeah.
I remember Hoth and I remember the scene where where Luke gets his arm cut off, but other than that, none of that was in my brain. Like I knew that he turned to carbonite, but I didn't know.
He doesn't turn into carbonite.
Well,
he gets
whatever.
frozen in carbonite.
Sure, he turns into carbonite.
All right.
All of that.
Carbonite, protect your files.
My point is I didn't remember a lot of the specific scenes, and like I did not remember the Cloud City, which is where most of the movie takes place. So I thought that was weird.
Yeah. You asked me like 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. You were like, "Wait, so now they're in a spaceship?" I went, "No, Jess, they're in a city in the clouds." But why are they floating? Because it's Cloud City,
like
Jessica.
when Luke fell and went under Cloud City, I was like, "Where the fuck?" Because
wait, why did he fall out of a spaceship? Why isn't it moving?
Yeah, Luke and
it's
Darth.
Not a spaceship.
Luke and Darth are fighting
Vader.
in this weird metallic. It looked like the inside of a spaceship. Like I still don't understand where the fuck they were.
Jessica, they were in Cloud City.
Where though?
I don't know. What does it matter?
They
the
were in a
storage room.
spaceship.
What does it matter? They were in a supply closet. Who cares? They were not in a spaceship. They were not in a spaceship.
I don't know.
They were Okay, see you later, pod racers. See you later, pod racers. See you later, pod racers.